confident driver. If you don't know, I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults, but doing driver's education at the level 1, level 2, road test prep, about 23 years. So good drivers possess these skills. I'm going to talk about my experiences and what I've seen with drivers. I had a chance to go to Texas this past weekend, and even though my daughter was driving, she has about 4 years, 4 years of experience. I'm going to share her experience with you, and then this can help you understand. Great drivers understand the laws. So when we were driving in Texas, they drive a little bit slower. The speed limit was 65 in many areas. Parts of my area are 70 or 75 miles an hour. There's a lot more semi-truck traffic. So this means lane 1 and lane 2 are full of semi-trucks. Texas also had the HOV, high occupancy vehicle. You have to have 2 or more drivers. So my daughter said to me, the driver, "What does that mean?" I said, "I need you to look at the sign." She looked at the sign. "What does that mean?" I said, "You need to have more than one person in the car. Do we fit that criteria?" She said, "Yes." So when you're driving in different states, first you're overwhelmed. We were in Texas. We had to rent a car. We drove from George Bush Airport and went to downtown Houston. So we were about an hour away. We had never been to Texas before. The speed limit was 65. The road was different. A road's a road, but the road was much smoother. The expressways are elevated 50 to 100 feet in the air. So that's very different. And if you're scared of heights, it's a little bit overwhelming. So we had to follow the rules. We were in the left lane and we were driving at the speed limit. Cars were tailgating, cutting us off. So I told my daughter to get over one lane to the middle lane, thereby letting faster traffic move by. So you should not hold up traffic. If you're holding up traffic, get over to the right lane. Slower moving traffic stays in the right lane. And also in Texas, they have a traffic light. As people are merging, that light is red. And when it turns green, then you're free to merge on. So I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars waiting to merge on. And you can imagine being a driver, a new driver, in my case, my daughter, 4 years of experience dealing with cars from Texas, California. Okay, you have to be able to maneuver around that traffic. Next, patience. We were patient because the flow of the traffic was moving about 35, yet the speed limit was 65. So when you're driving on an expressway, it's already overwhelming. It's already nerve-wracking. When you're in another state and in a rent-a-car, you don't know how, and the brakes, we'll talk about the brakes a second. The car was brand new, less than 5,000 miles. So the brakes were very tight. And if you just tap them, the car stops really fast. So she had tapped the brakes really hard. The car literally just stopped. S-T-O-P. When you're in an unfamiliar car, you have to be really smooth on the brakes. You have to squeeze the brake. If you're hitting the brake hard, you're going to get rear-ended. And she didn't mean to do that, but I naturally looked up because I'm used to a car with dual mirrors. And I said, "You can't hit the brake hard. We're going to get rear-ended." R-E-A-R-E-N-D-E-D. So she said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know these brakes were so tight." So whenever you're driving, you want to use the ball of your foot. I'm going to talk briefly about blind spots. We were driving a 2023 Malibu, 4-door, very long car. She had her mirrors adjusted decently, but she had a difficult time checking her blind spot. So I'm trying to support her and help her. I'm in my role of dad. We're on a vacation. I'm not trying to be an instructor. I felt comfortable letting her drive, giving her that confidence. We are driving, the speed limit is 70, then 65. And then there are 3 or 4 cars merging us. So you know that's a lot of nervous energy. You want to make sure you're going the right way. You want to make sure you're not lost. We're reading GPS. I'm the co-pilot. I have to support her. And we have the phone connected to the GPS in the car. But it's one thing to know where you're going. It's another thing to read GPS. So you have to know how to drive, keep space, and those same rules do apply. You keep space. There were a lot of cars tailgating us. We're at the speed limit. We're new. We're not used to driving in Texas, Texas. There are a large number of semi-trucks. Stay out of the way of the trucks. The semi-trucks are in the first and second lane. I told her, I need you to get to the third lane or the fourth lane. Go with the flow of the traffic. And she did okay, but as soon as you get up to speed, then someone slows down in front of you, thereby almost creating a chain reaction accident. So she slowly adjusted her speed. We stayed focused on safety. We were both excited to get to downtown Houston, but we had never been there before. And typically in downtown areas, there are a lot of one-way streets to get traffic in quickly and to get traffic out quickly. And we were trying to find the Post, P-O-S-T. That is a building in Houston that is a tourist attraction. So we're trying to find our way, and we saw signs. In fact, she had missed the street. And I told her, knowing that cities have one-ways, downtown areas, go to the next street, get over to the left. Just as she did that, we had a green. A pedestrian walked in front of us from my right, our IGHT, to her left. We almost struck the pedestrian. Dad, was that my fault? What would you have done? I paused. I said, you did okay. Because pedestrians will walk in front of you, and we do not want to have that accident of striking a pedestrian. And clearly the light was in our favor. We were going about 18 miles an hour, and there was a gap of about 40 feet. The pedestrian walked in front of us. My daughter just barely tapped the brake. We almost hit him. So I didn't hesitate, because if I hesitate, she's going to hesitate. And if we hesitate enough, she's going to hit the brakes, and we hit the pedestrian. So downtown areas have a lot of one-ways. We made a lot of right turns and left turns. You have to pay for parking. One spot was $20. I said to myself and her, find another spot. So she asked. There was a concert in downtown Houston. If you've ever been to a huge metropolitan area, this is how cities make money. They charge for parking. This is why parallel parking, stall parking, angle parking are really expensive. So the first spot it was a musical hall in downtown Houston. That was $20 a spot. I said, hold on, H-O-L-D, on, O-N. Let's find another spot. So we went up. She talked to the person collecting money. I said, I need you to ask, can we find a better spot? Thereby encouraging her. So when you're driving, you have 4 years experience. You can't be scared to ask questions. And I encouraged my daughter, or you, a younger driver, to ask questions. Remember, we're not from Texas. We have a rent-a-car. We're trying to go, we might go to the Houston Space Center. We want to go down to the Gulf of Mexico. We're on a time limit. That's stressful. And on top of that, you're paying for parking. And we had a budget of about $1,000, but the rent-a-car was about $480. The hotel was $270. You see where I'm going with this. Parking was $20. Now it's, hey, now the parking spot is, I think it's $2.50 per hour. So we almost spent about $15 for parking. So when you're driving, you have to Understand that if you're in the downtown area, you're going to pay for parking. And if you don't pay, you're going to get a ticket. We adapted to the environment. I've been to Arlington, Texas before in college playing football, but now we're driving. Now I have another person driving who has 4 years of experience. Okay? She's been to North Carolina. She's been to Washington, D.C. She's been to Bowling Green, Ohio. She's been to Lansing, Michigan. But to go to Texas on the interstate, you're over 21 hours away. We did focus on safety. I had her in the middle lane. No sense to drive really fast in the left lane, get a ticket, and also the police. They drive different in Texas. They drive faster. They drive slower. There's an HOV lane. There are cars waiting to merge onto the right. There's a traffic light. And when it turns green, those cars are gone. And if you don't look, you're going to get cut off. So we adapted and learned the style. We had some good experiences. We had a positive attitude because driving in a different state is way different than us driving in your local neighborhood where you know the stop signs are and the yield signs are. And they were different signs. We did see people riding horses coming up to the gas station because we're in Texas. We built confidence by getting my daughter, who has 4 years of experience, and if this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. If you're learning something, driving in a different area, a different state, a different country, give it a thumbs up. We had never been to Texas. We got the rent-a-car. She wanted to go see different things, and I'm not mad at her. But we had to drive there, and we had to trust GPS, global positioning systems. She had the confidence. We gradually built up speed. We were in the middle lane. Some cars and trucks did cut us off. She got a little bit tense. I said, relax. If you're getting tense and nervous, you won't do well. You have to relax in an unfamiliar place. Observation and feedback. I said, keep your speed up. Check your blind spot. She kind of checked to the side. I said, no, you've got to look over your shoulder. And she did. 4 years of experience. We have to acknowledge the local laws. We have to be familiar with some of the new settings, and they were toll roads where you had to pay money. If I would plan a lesson, I would make sure that you were in a consistent area that I'm familiar with. I was very professional. I gave compliments. We can't just park in the middle of the street. If you want to drive somewhere and you're in an unfamiliar spot, take your time, trust your GPS, plan ahead, look around, and we did that. When you're driving in an unfamiliar area, have your battery charged up on your phone, plug it into your car if possible, have a co-pilot. I was the co-pilot. I was able to guide my daughter, who has 4 years of experience in an unfamiliar area. Remember, the role of your coach is to help you grow, to be safe. We kept our speed 70 or 75. To find good opportunities, stay in the middle lane. Ladies and gentlemen, if this was helpful to you and you learned a lot, please follow, subscribe, and enjoy the experience. I will talk to you later. Also, I have a podcast called Driving with Myles. I did a podcast about being lost in Texas. We got lost. And I think you enjoy it. Driving with the Myles is on Spotify. Bye.